Hey, everybody. We are trying to come to you with this class today, and we will not be stopped. All right. So, today's class is how to turn your passions into a profitable business. And if you are here with me live, let me know. If you are here with me live, let me know. Let me know. Okay, good. All right, we good to go, guys. We good to go. Listen, when you're trying to do something great, honey, all the things will try to stop you, but we will not be stopped today because I'm bringing you this class. So, all right, so let's hop into it. Today, we're going to be talking all about how to turn your passions into a profitable business. And let me just say, now is the time for this topic because so many of you, I am having so many conversations with you about, starting your own business. And I think it's a beautiful time to start your own business, but it's also really beautiful to be starting your own business when times are, kind of crazy in the world. And I say world because, you know, we be leading some chaos over here in the United States that sprawls across the world. And so I'm so excited to be bringing this topic today. If you are here with me live, please drop your name in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Thank you, Nicole, for all your help. Making sure we can get this class live today. And so let's jump right into it. How do you turn your passions to a profitable business? I have been in business for over 15 years. And let me just tell you, my businesses have not always been profitable. It's been real crazy, as a matter of fact. But I learned over the years how to turn my businesses into profitable ventures. And today what I'm going to do is kind of give you a little blueprint in terms of how you can do the same. So I want to set the scene for you. This was 15 plus years ago. I was a social worker at a large hospital in Baltimore. And I had a dream and a vision to become a speaker, a motivational speaker, a keynote speaker. And I knew I had the skills and the ability to do it. So what I did was I did a lot of research on speaking and everything like that. And I came up with the thought that in order for me to really grow my speaking business, I needed to quit my job. Y'all see the side eye, honey. Okay. So in order for me to grow this speaking business, I had to quit my job. And so that's what I ultimately did was I quit my job to start this amazing speaking business. And then there were crickets. Y'all know. There were crickets. And it took me a long while before I learned how to actually grow a profitable speaking business. Now, let me say this. Some of you, so many of you tell me that you want to grow speaking careers and that you want to quit your job to do so. And I advise you all the same way. And I say, yes, speaking is an amazing career, but don't quit your job to do it because it is hard. Speaking is a gig to gig business, right? And so you are only speaking, and then you got to speak again to get your next paycheck. And you don't want to do that. Right. So anyway, it's a gig to gig business. And I didn't know how to ultimately get the amount of gigs that I needed in order to sustain myself. Now I have another class here. And it's called How to Grow a Business While Working Your Full-Time Job. And so if you are still working a full-time job, please go look at that video. I really, really, really drop some gems and nuggets on how to really grow a business while you're still working full-time. Because most of us need to be working a job while we're growing another job or side hustle or whatever, what have you, right? So we need to do that. So the thing is, right, I was doing that. I had to go, I quit my job and I literally had to go back as a contractor to make ends meet. So here I am working as a contractor, trying to grow the speaking business, and it took me a long time. That sound brokey for a very long time, unnecessarily, right? Because a lot of us, the faulty thinking that we have when we start our own businesses is that we need more time to grow our business. No, what you need is a job that's going to provide you with stability while you are able to grow your business, because the amount of stress on this other side, if you don't have some kind of money coming in, is astronomical. And what you're doing is you're asking a baby to perform as an adult. A lot of y'all got these baby businesses, right? Because when you first start a business, it's a baby. But then you turn around and you want that business to perform and give you all this cash flow, but it ain't learned how to do that. Right. So that's that's my 2 cents on that. But go back and watch that video. So here I was, I had to go back as a contractor and learn how to grow this business. And I ultimately did learn how to grow the business. And these are some of the things that we're going to talk about on today's call, and learn how to grow that business. But one of the things that I learned in the process was how to add more services to the business that I had. And that's the thing that actually ultimately grow the business. I learned what coaching was. So here I am out here speaking at women's conferences, companies, all those things. And people started asking me if I could help them individually. And you know how we do. I'm like, sure, I can actually help you learn how to do that. And I didn't know, but I eventually found out that that thing was coaching. And as a matter of fact, I found another thing called positive psychology, which is the study of what goes right with you. And I'm like, oh my God, I learned how to then supplement the time in between the keynote speeches. So now I have this stableness, right? I have this stability of really doing that. But it wasn't always still so stable because, of course, now I'm adding another line of business, which I need to learn how to grow. Right, I need to learn how to grow this. And so over the years, right, I learned the tools and the strategies to grow those to, that company to, 7 figures. And I'm so glad that I did, because I particularly wanted to stay an entrepreneur. So I learned how to grow it. And so we're going to jump in. We're going to talk about some ways you can learn how to grow a profitable business based on your passions and stuff. And so let's start right there. Let me start right there, because some of you want to grow businesses because you just think the business is going to make money. So let me explain this to you. Yes, you start a business because businesses make money. The purpose of business is to make money. The purpose of any organization ultimately is they want their bottom line to grow, right? I mean, to be in business means you want to actually make money, right? To be in business means you want to make money. So I get that. But you don't start a business solely because that business makes money. Here's what I mean. You don't just go out and be a realtor like I did because somebody told you real estate makes money. That was me years and years ago, before I became positive psychologist, executive coach. I heard that you can make a lot of money being a real estate agent. So I went out and I got my realtor's license, and I thought I was going to love it, but I didn't. Shout out to all the realtors out there. Some of y'all do amazing work. But I didn't want to deal with the clients in that way, right? I felt like clients were stringing people along. I didn't feel like going to, tour all these houses with people. It just wasn't for me. And guess what? Because I wasn't passionate about it, it didn't last. I haven't done real estate in so long, and I have property, and I know a lot about real estate, but I don't want to be in real estate. I don't want to be a realtor. And that's one of my first tips that I want you to know is that you cannot start a business just because somebody told you it makes a lot of money. I was in a whole network marketing company way back in the day, way back in the day. And y'all know with these companies, boy, they be boasting the big profits. You got the people up on stage getting awards and stuff like that. I love all that kind of stuff. Like I am so attracted to that kind of stuff. So much so that I joined one because I wanted to be on stage and I wanted to make all this money and all this kind of stuff, but I never wanted to do the business. I never wanted to sell the products, the insurance, the real estate that it was going to take for me to get up on those stages. So guess what? That business didn't last either because I wasn't passionate about it. Yes, there were people in that business that was making money, no doubt, but I wasn't passionate about it. So as you think about this business that you are about to embark upon, if haven't started your business yet, you gotta be passionate about the business that you want to start. If you don't know that yet, then the next thing that you need to focus on is you got to understand your strengths. What sets you apart from everybody else, right? You need to really know that. For me, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that my communication, my ability to motivate and encourage women was a gift. And yes, guess what? Other people got the gift. Sure do. You may have the gift as well. But the difference is me and you. You have your gift and it's going to come to you and it's going to come from you the way that you actually share it with the world. Mine is going to come from me the way I share it with the world, which makes us both very much unique in our gifting. But if you don't know that and you can't articulate that, then it's going to be hard for you to grow your business, right? So number one, you have to be passionate about it, not just because it makes money, but because you're passionate about it. And number two, you have to understand your strengths, your unique gifting. I coach so many women that want to start businesses and they are not necessarily passionate in these businesses. And when I say passionate, I mean, you got to be passionate enough that at the end of the day, when these challenges come, and oh, baby, will they come? They gonna come. When these challenges come your way, you have to be passionate enough to withstand the challenges. Those times when you ain't got no money, what you gonna do? You gonna quit? Now, here's the thing. There's no shame in the game of going back to work. I had to do that. Like I literally had to do that. But I didn't quit the business altogether of speaking and pouring into the lives of women because I was that much passionate about it. And I knew at some point I could make it work. But in the beginning, I couldn't make it work without another job. And that's where some of you may be at, right? So you have to be super passionate about it. You have to have the skill. I talk to so many women and I ask them about the business. And they don't either have the skill or don't know a lot about the business, but they've heard that it makes money. No. Absolutely not. Like, I need you to be strong, definitive, have the skill, right? Have the skill so that you can withstand the challenges that are going to come your way. Okay. So that's number one, right? Have the passion, have the skill. So here are the next things that I need you to hear me on this, right? We have to build a foundation. We have to build a foundation. If you don't build this foundation of this business, I can guarantee you it's not going to work. I can guarantee you it's not going to work because you have to build this foundation. What I'm about to share with you next, if you don't do these steps when it comes to a business, then chances are you won't get very, very far. So there are a couple things that you need to do. So you have to create a mission, a vision, and some goals for this business. Mission, vision, goals. Now, So what we're doing is we're kind of building out a little business plan, but this is a baby business plan. This ain't even like one of those hardcore business plans that, some big, business coach might tell you to do, or this ain't a plan that you can take to the bank and get a loan, right? But this is a plan that's going to give you a solid foundation as you start your business. And here's the thing. Here's why I'm saying this is because if you don't do this, it ain't going to work. It ain't gonna work. So number one, I need you to figure out what is the goal of your business? What do you ultimately want to do with your business? Right? Yes, in terms of service or product, but also what does the business look like in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Let me give you an example. My first business is Kiki Ramsey International. That's the business I started 15 years ago. And I do a lot of speaking, keynoting on workplace happiness, leadership, diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? And so I go around and I do all that. That's my baby. She's 15 years old. Well, this year, actually, oh my gosh, she's about to be 16 years old this year. And she's my first company. She's my first love. I write books. I speak. We do some coaching. I have a community, Thrive Society, all these things under this business. And I knew that this was a company that I would really probably have forever. It's called Kiki Ramsey International. For real, it's my name, right? So I have this business, but I've always had a vision that I would have a business that I could ultimately grow to a large scale and then potentially sell the business based on just where I want to be. And I also had a goal of not being the only person to work in my business. I didn't want to be the end all, the beginning and the end of my business, meaning I didn't want the work product to come just from me, right? I didn't want the work product to come just from me. I wanted to be a CEO of a company where I had other people fulfilling the requirements of the work, right? So I've always known this. I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time. Even when I was a kid, I used to sell candy out of a suitcase in middle school. Don't mess with me, okay? So I've always had that vision of having a larger company. So when I decided to start my second company, the Positive Psychology Coaching and Diversity Institute, aka PCADI, I wasn't going to start PCADI. I was going to put it underneath Kiki Ramsey International, right? And so, a wise person, you always got to have a wise person in your life. For me, the wise person is my husband, aka Dr. Jamil Ramsey. He was like, well, if you do that, that means you might ultimately sell Kiki Ramsey International. And I'm like, no. He was like, well, you need to start a second company. And I'm like, what? I don't want to start another company. He was like, well, if you put your idea, which was to, I was going to go into creating a company where I had other coaches partner with me, work for my organization, and we go out there and do diversity and leadership coaching because George Floyd had happened. And I was like, this ain't right. And I got to do something bigger, right? He said, if you put that structure under Kiki Ramsey International and you grow it to where you want to grow it, then what you going to do with it? Because Kiki Ramsey International is your namesake. Are you going to want to sell that? And I'm like, okay. So PCADI was born because I knew what my goal was. My goal for Kiki Ramsey International, that was always going to be my baby. That's my namesake. It holds all of my intellectual properties. And so therefore, I started PCADI, and we're in the process of growing PCADI to a global organization where we have a full, diverse roster of coaches, and we're serving companies even during these hard times, y'all. Don't be fooled, because people are still holding true to their values of DE&I during these times. So we're serving these companies, and then who knows, down the road, we might possibly sell her. But that's what I'm talking about when I say goal. What's your goal? What's your goal? I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs who are okay with being solopreneurs. And when I say solopreneurs, I mean you operating your business by yourself. That is absolutely fine. And I also talk to people who want to create corporations and found, companies where they are the CEO and they have many people who are working for them. I need you to figure that out. Will you start there? No. Chances are you won't unless you have some good capital to do so, which in that case, absolutely, that's amazing, right? I started Peacaddy with 5 friends. They were all coaches. And I called them up one day and I said, hey, I'm about to do a thing. Do you want to do this thing with me? And they all said, yes, I'm ready. That's how I started. 5, right? Kiki Ramsey is and has always really been me. Right. And I have, support people and everything like that. But in terms of the company structure, it's always been me. So I need you to figure out what your goal is. And then on top of that, right, I need you to figure out what your mission and the vision of your company is. Because these are the things that are going to keep you in this business. Number one, if you have a goal for your company. Like I had a goal for both companies that I've started. And the goal has still, the end goal has still, been the same. How we get there changes, but the end goal is still the same, right? So the mission and the vision, you got to know this. This is the thing that's going to keep you planted in this business when you actually start going through hard times. Now, this is all of what I'm saying to you is going to help you be a profitable business. We're going to get into a couple strategies, but if you do not have this foundation, you are not going to be successful. I've seen it happen over and over again. I've been a coach for 15 years. I've seen it happen, right? So at the end of the day, mission and vision. My mission, in Kiki Ramsey International has always been to help women change their lives for the better, right? That's been an overarching mission for that company. And the vision is to just see millions of women's lives changed, right? That has been it. Now, how I word the mission and the vision for Kiki Ramsey has evolved over years. Right now, my mission is to help women find their God-given purpose and discover the career or business that they love and make money while they're doing it, right? Because I believe that we all deserve to understand our purpose in life, share those gifts with the world, and make a great living, right? Whether it be a career or business. So that's evolved over the years, but it's still under the umbrella of helping women change their lives for the better. Ain't nothing changed about that. With Peacaddy, our mission is to create positively diverse leaders and inclusive workspaces, right? That's our mission. And our vision is to change the face of leadership, period. Because leadership in today's day don't look like me. And if we leave it up to the sitting president, it won't ever look like me, okay? Because I have no merit. Although I have a PhD and I'm a master certified coach with the International Coaching Federation. But that's neither here nor there because we're talking about you growing your business. So that's the mission and that's the vision. And every day I get up and I potentially see some craziness because let me tell you, every day it is just insanity on the news. I lean back on the mission and the vision of both of my companies. And people always ask me, how do you do what you do? Because I have a firm mission and a firm vision of why I'm here and why I was placed on this earth. Otherwise, I couldn't do this, right? And the fact that I believe that God sits on the throne and we're going to be okay, right? Like I have to believe that and then continue the actions that I'm doing. So those are you got to figure out your goals for your company, your mission, your vision. You have to be strong in the area and you have to be passionate about it. That's your foundation. That is your foundation. If you don't start with that foundation, it is going to be extremely, extremely hard for you to move forward, right? So the next thing I want you to do is figure out, and then we're not going to talk in depth about this, but figure out what your legal structure is going to be for your company. Yes, you can start a business under your name and social security, but it's probably not what you want to do because it doesn't give you any protections if somebody were to sue you. And you get most of your tax benefits when you have some kind of structure like an LLC, S corp, C corp, something like that, right? You can get more tax benefits from being that. And so why start a company if you ain't gonna be able to get the tax benefits to do so? So figure out, your tax benefits. Figure out your legal structure, because once you do that, you are in for, to move forward with your business, right? So now you have your legal structure and you're ready to move forward. What are you doing? What are you selling? Because, of course, all businesses sell to make a profit, right? What are you selling? Here's the thing. And I was just coaching, a client yesterday about this very same thing. And she was telling me about all the things she was going to put into place, hire this person, hire that person, hire this person, hire that person. Nothing is more important in your business than business development. Okay, we can close the class now. Bye. See y'all. Great. I mean, because if you don't have business development, how are you developing business? I mean, at the end of the day, even if people are giving you referrals, that's some sort of business development. You can do all these other things. And of course, we need to have marketing. We need to have website. We need to have all these things. We need to have all that stuff. But at the end of the day, you need to learn how to get clients, whether it's you or somebody on your team. When you're first starting off for business, is you, the BD person. You're the person who is going to go out there and get clients for your organization. And this is how you ultimately become profitable, is that you get really good at BD, or you hire somebody to help you with the business development of your organization. It is hands down the most important thing. And let me tell you this. One of the things when I was in another company, I had this mentor, and he was like, I'm gonna give you the secret to success. This secret, hands down, to success. You'll never go hungry. You'll never, ever, ever go hungry. You will always have so much money in the bank. And so I'm sitting there. I'm so excited to get this secret to success. My husband was with me. I was like, yo, we about to learn. We about to learn it, baby. This the day. Y'all, I am so extra sometimes. But, my top strength is zest, honey. I can't help it. So I'm sitting there. I am pumped up about literally getting the secret to success. And here's what he said. He said, here's the secret. 2 names a day keeps poverty away. What? I'm not kidding. It's like 2 names a day keeps poverty away. I was so disappointed. Baby, I was distraught. I'm like, you mean to tell me I got myself all pumped up and hyped up for you to tell me about some 2 names a day keeps poverty away? I was pissed. I was so mad. But here's the truth. He ain't never lied. Oh, man. He ain't never lied about that. Because here's the thing. Here's what he's saying. If you prospect, if you pick up the phone, if you have a conversation with at least 2 people and ask them to invest in your company, you won't ever be broke. If when I first started off my business in terms of speaking, picked up the phone and called 2 meeting planners, 2 conferences, to anybody, my speaking roster would have stayed booked. Even now, right? I mean, I have a team. And so that, that's helpful, but the concept is a game changer. 2 names a day keeps poverty away. That means you need to be having conversations with at least 2 people every single day. And I don't really know most people who do that. I really don't. I think we think that, oh, social media is going to do it for us, or, my email blast is going to do it for us. That's just called marketing. That's just you getting your name out in front of everybody, which is important. So don't get me wrong, right? That's important, but it's not as important as you talking and having conversations and asking people to purchase your service or your product. You can do it every day. You can call people every day. You can send an email every day. You can send a direct message, a DM somebody every day. You can do this every day. But if you don't do it, chances are you're not having enough money getting conversations. Money getting conversations. That is what is necessary for you to grow your business as profitable. So over the years, I took that to heart and I started getting very, very savvy about building relationships with people. In the beginning, because this was a network marketing company, they used to teach you how to prospect out in public and stores and stuff like that. That feels cringy to me. And so like, I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? That felt real cringy to me, right? But I am very good at building relationships, building conversations, and getting those names, even in the circles that I roll in. I don't know about you, but I got kids, small kids, and I have an adult son as well. But my small kids have me in different parent circles all the time. And guess what? All of us parents, we work. We work, right? And so one of our largest clients I got because our kids went to daycare together. And, we started having conversations. I talked to her about what I do. She introduced me to the right people at her organization. And we ultimately got a contract with that organization. And so that's me always thinking, right? Because here's the thing. Here's the other thing that I want you to realize. If you are passionate about starting a business and so if you're passionate about starting a business, you should be hands down over the hills in love and know that your business is going to help people. And you should want to get your business in the hands of every single person that it can help, which could be a lot of people. So for me, with Kiki Ramsey International, in terms of, all the speaking, I hands down know that I'm a phenomenal speaker now. Like, I needed help in the beginning, of course, because we have to learn, right? But now I can ignite a room when I go in it. I make people get excited. I make people laugh. I make people dance, all those things, right? I know that you bringing me into your organization is going to ignite the whole entire conference. I want to get me into the hands of every meeting planner and every conference there is, right? Because I know that I will be able to change lives with the stories that I tell. Same thing for PCADI. Right now, DE&I is under attack in our country. And that's just, it's almost like we're saying that, this administration is trying to erase the very being of people of diverse backgrounds. It's insane. I belong here just like anybody else. You belong here just like anybody else. And so I know that what I teach, which is positively diverse leadership, helping people work from a place of strength so that they can build better relationships and communicate better to ultimately become inclusive is something that every organization in this country needs. I know that. So me going out there, having these conversations don't make me feel bad. They actually make me feel excited because I know I have something that will help you or your company. And you have to be that resolved in the business that you're starting, because you ain't bothering people, you're going to help them. And people want to be helped. What people don't want is to be sold to, but they do want help. And so you have to figure out a way to begin building these relationships, getting your 2 names a day so that you can build your business. So all this other stuff, all this other stuff that y'all doing to build your business, stop. Do this. Figure out how you're going to get them 2 names a day so that you can grow your business. Because you do know that you have to go through more than two people to actually get 2 names of actual contacts that you're going to be able to talk to and have conversations with. You do know that, right? And so you may have to go through 10, 15, 20 people just to even talk to 2 people. And those 2 people may say yes or no. And you do it all over again tomorrow. So there's a lot of busy work that I see going on out here when it comes to growing a business. And so what I want you to do is ask yourself in the morning time if what you have on your list of items to do, because y'all know us, because I know me, baby, that list be long. It be long. Ask yourself, what business, what money-making activity is on this list today? And if there are no money-making business development activities on that list today, you are wasting your time. Yeah, you can have those other things. You need to market. You need to post on social media. You need to write that book so that it can get you more publicity and all that kind of stuff. You need to do all those things, right? You absolutely do. But at the end of the day, if you haven't tried to pick up the phone, send out an email, send out a DM or anything like that, then what are you doing? Because what you're not doing is growing a profitable business. Yeah, I know. See, what I'm doing is giving you a little self-love, because this little self-love was given to me at one point in my entrepreneurial journey. And I ain't want to hear it because I ain't want to really do it. Like we like to pretend like we entrepreneurs in business. All the while, our bank account is on E. I don't want that for you, because number one, I know that you're bad. I know that you have amazing skills. So get unscared, right? And pick up the phone, send out the email, send out the text, send out the DM, right? And you don't have to send out. Here's the thing. When it comes to selling and developing business, how you do that is through relationships. So you're not sending out an email or a text or whatever to a specific person saying, hey, you know what? My name is Dr. Kiki Ramsey. I'm the founder of, PCADDY, and I want to, sell you some services. That's not what you're doing. What you're doing is saying, hey, I noticed that we have some synergies. I'd love to, chat and have a call with you, get to know you better, get to know what's, going on with you. Or you start off real slow and just start building a relationship. And then at some point, you will be able to build up enough rapport with that person to then say, hey, you know what? This is what I do. I think it could be really helpful for you, especially if you're just starting out. If you are already in business and you're finding it difficult to grow and to have the amount of resources you need to solely focus on business development. You need to solely focus on reaching out to past clients, reaching out to friends and family and letting them know that you are open for business and that you need a referral to another company that they might work for or something like that. That's your only mission. That's your only mission. Your goal is to have 1 to 2 clients or calls on your calendar every single day. And if it's not your calendar, if you got somebody working for you, they should be reaching out to several people every single day so that they can have these conversations. Because remember, 2 calls a day keeps poverty away. I know I'm giving y'all a little bit of tough love, but it is so key. So we've gone over a couple things in this class today. You need to be strong in your business. You need to be passionate about your business. You need to understand the goal of your business, your mission and vision statement, and you need to focus solely on business development. And yes, marketing is in there, right? And that's a whole nother class, right? How do you market your business for profitability and for success? That's a whole nother class. And I might, let me know in the comments if y'all want me to, teach that class next. But these are the fundamental, and I'm giving you the playbook. If you do just what I told you and focus on business development, you'll start having money come in. I can guarantee it. It may take a little time to get you up and running, but you will start having money come in. And if you're scared, I need you to do it anyway. Really what it is. Pick up the phone and do it in any way, and don't care about what people think of you. And I know that's hard, right? But the moment you stop caring about what everybody else thinks of you is the moment that you become more strong, courageous, and successful. I had to stop caring about what people thought about me, right? I used to, think people was going to think bad of me, and guess what? They do. I'm pretty sure, everybody got trolls. If you're doing enough in the marketplace, if you're doing enough on your job, if you're doing enough in your business, if you're making, if you showing that you matter and you're showing up for your life, you're going to have haters. But you know that saying, let your haters be your motivators. You're going to have people that don't like you. But that, like Tabitha says, that ain't your business. So you could not like me. But I'm also put here on earth for a purpose. And it is my job to share my gifts and talents with the world. It is your job to do that. You were placed here for a reason, and it is your job and your job alone to share your gifts and talents with the world. All right, y'all. Love you so much. I hope that this was helpful to you. Please do me a favor, like and subscribe to my channel, because we are trying to blow this thing up. We're trying to, get to my mission, which is to help millions of women discover their God-given purpose and the career or business that they love and make more money while doing it, right? So that is my goal. So please share this class with a friend, and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to be in a community with me, I invite you to come on over to Thrive Society. I have a lot of just women in there that are supportive of each other. And I do coaching sessions so that I can dig deep with y'all on some of these topics. It's absolutely free. So go ahead on to drkiki.com and subscribe or join Thrive Society. I love to see you there and have some real conversations. All right, y'all. Until next time, you know that you have the ability to create your own happiness. And that's what this is all about. You got this beautiful gift inside of you. So let's go out there and create these profitable businesses. Until next time, peace.